Get ready for the is Hasan a terrorist searches the sore on Twitter after mentioning Ethan decline. I mean, who gives a fuck? Yeah, by the way, the lawsuit that fucking failed, this was one of the elements. Obviously, like, you might be thinking, why the fuck do I care about this like weird ass lawsuit from a pro-Israel podcaster from a pro-Israel podcaster against like other people? And it's because he basically used the fucking lawsuit as a fleshlight for all of his other, you know, personal opinions. Very strange. Yeah, he did a whole bunch of weird shit in that lawsuit, and it turns out a normal judge looked at it and was like, this is fucking insane. It turns out that what pops off in the minds of like weird, perverted, fake lawyers on the internet and rape tone and Asmongold circles on the internet doesn't actually stand in the fucking court of law. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff overall. But does this matter? Of course not, because our enemies are stupid. Okay? Our enemies are fucking stupid. Okay? Just remember that. If you're wondering why these guys constantly go, oh, this lawsuit is over, and then there's like 7 million views on these YouTube videos with like some of the sweatiest fucking losers on the planet running around being like, oh my God, like this is over. What epic ownage, without even like thinking about what dangerous precedent this sets for fair use on the internet. Like Ethan Klein almost killed fair use with this idiotic fucking attempt. Thank God the judge was like, hey dog, your previous precedent that you set in your previous lawsuit was actually pretty reliable in this circumstance. Yeah, they cited his own fair use suit from 2016 and his fucking loss, dude. Today's feel-good story. A federal judge just handed Zionist YouTuber Ethan Klein a brutal loss in his copyright lawsuit against pro-Palestine Twitch streamer Denims TV. In a humiliating ruling, the judge cites a precedent that Klein himself created. In 2017, Klein won a landmark fair use case, Hosinzadeh versus Klein. After being sued for making a reaction commentary video, it became one of the most important copyright rulings in YouTube history. Creator rights advocates celebrated him. Fast forwarded to 2025. Now, the plaintiff sues several smaller streamers for doing almost exactly what he did back then, watching it criticizing his video in an unhinged diatribe against Hasan the Hun, live with commentary throughout. Today, Judge Wesley Su cited Hosinzadeh versus Klein repeatedly to rule that Denims TV's livestream was transformative fair use. The case Klein won to protect himself is now protecting the pro-Palestine streamers he's suing. Klein's own complaint alleged that Denims used his video for the exact opposite purpose, to defend Hasan Piker rather than condemn him. The court said, exactly. Different purpose means transformative. Klein argued himself into losing. Is he being fleeced by his lawyers? Dude, can you imagine thinking, by the way, this is Israel mindset. Sorry, gonna say it. This is Israel mindset. It's not shocking to me that his lawyer is a West Bank settler. It's not shocking to me that Ethan Klein loves Israel. Because this is Israeli mindset. You think you get to have a say in how people transform your content? Are you fucking stupid? But of course, the way Israel mindset, being spiritually, Israeli and doing Israel mindset, here's how it works. If you have overwhelming power, if you have a lot more money to throw at a fucking problem, you can actually make people that are smaller than you, that don't have that same financial support, you can actually humiliate them or try to humiliate them when all you're doing is humiliating yourself. And it turns out there are some people, sycophants really, that will support you every step of the fucking way. Because that's what happened with Casey Tron, where he made Casey Tron release this statement and like sign off on a litany of like insane things. In a just world, all these reaction streamers should be thanking her for fighting their fight. Roach, X, and Destiny were celebrating her getting her sued, not knowing if she lost, it would be bad for them because they react to thousands of videos. Exactly. Unfortunately, like I said, a lot of our opposition is either unbelievably fucking stupid or they're just horrible monsters. Okay? Sometimes both. Every single fucking major content creator on this dumbass fucking platform that reacts to YouTube videos with regular frequency was championing this fucking lawsuit, not realizing that if this lawsuit was successful, it would have gutted React content in general. They should be kissing Denims' feet. They should have been fucking screeching at Ethan. They should have been screaming at Ethan, but no, they were too horny to fucking bully a bunch of pro-Palestine women that they don't like, that their fucking dumbass incel audiences would jerk off to the thought of dominating. And that's precisely what happened here, okay? That's what this is. A lot of fucking dumbass losers on the internet were so stoked. We're so motherfucking stoked at the prospect of destroying the lives and livelihoods of a bunch of the women that they don't like. That they didn't even think about the fucking consequences. Now, will they actually address this stuff evenly? Will they address it accurately? Will they look at the situation and go, well, obviously, this was a failure, and maybe Ethan should stop, pursuing these idiotic lawsuits, wasting away, like literally withering away, and aggressively pursuing people through litigation to dump unlimited amounts of paperwork on them with the hopes that they can't actually fight back because they don't have enough money, so they'll concede? Probably not. Because these guys don't think about anything. It's just pure reactionary nonsense. Anyway, there's more. The court walked through all 4 fair use factors. 3 favored Denim strongly. The only one favoring Klein, that the nuke is a creative work deserving protection, the judge dismissed as not terribly significant in the overall balance. Accordingly, the court finds that the nature of the subject work weighs against the finding of fair use. As set forth above, however, this factor alone is not terribly significant in overall fair use balancing. Because at the end of the day, the work was transformative. That's number one. And number two, Ethan was simply trying to sue people into submission because he didn't like what they had to say. How's that for fucking free speech? But it turns out a lot of people don't give a fuck about free speech at all, especially those who think free speech means, saying slurs and being able to say slurs and have no opposition whatsoever. Yeah. Here comes the Sunbird says, I don't believe this was ever about winning the lawsuit. Where it backfired was Denim's following through on taking it to a judge. Fair use is a robust enough stand to stand its ground, which is probably why Destiny and Asmongold were celebrating it. I would hope that at a certain point, if it doesn't change tomorrow, this will be the second most important court ruling on YouTube and fair use, followed only by 2017's Matt Haas / Ethan Klein. Yeah. Ironically enough, the in-person motion for judgment hearing will be today at 2:15. Scheduling for notice in-chamber order, changing the time of the motion. Ethan Klein, do the right thing. Drop everything, please. Oh my God. It's so stupid to consistently pursue this shit and try to appeal it. Please. Now that he's lost, he's going to admit he was doing it to cost Denim's money to try and not look owned. At some point, we got to finally fucking say this was a ridiculous process, right? I mean, Philip DeFranco, Moist Critical, like there's going to be a point where people actually cover this stuff, right? I hope. Yes, there's an insane Abdul El Sayed internal poll that came out that I've been that I've seen. It's insane. Like literally insane. It's unbelievable. Anyway, On Denims showing nearly the entire video, the court said that doesn't matter when copying isn't necessary for criticism. The citation was Hosseinzadeh versus Klein. All in all, the ruling cites the literal Ethan Klein landmark fair use ruling 12 times. 12 times. Every single fair use factor that went her way cited his own case law back to him. Can we talk? Wait. Like, this is a landmark ruling, a game changer once again. And for the record, if you want to know how fucking psychotic Ethan and his stupid fucking lawyer are, this is a part of the fucking documents that they filed where they said it's mostly just shitting on me for some reason. It's like 300 pages, and like most of it is just being like, well, Hasan Piker is actually the Kleins are dual Israeli-American citizens. Hila was born and raised in Israel, where she served as a secretary during her mandatory conscription into the Israeli Defense Forces. While both Ethan and Hila are highly supportive of Palestinian self-determination and extremely critical of Israel and its government, the Kleins support a two-state solution as the best interim solution to the conflict. Not relevant to the fucking case at all, but put that in there. In the wake of October 7th, Hasan emerged as the modern incarnation of the Grand Mufti Haj Amin al-Husseini. Like al-Husseini, Hasan became a passionate advocate and highly charismatic leader. Why is this in the fucking documents? I covered it briefly in the beginning, and I didn't have a lot of time to fucking cover this shit extensively because this was at the peak of amidst the ongoing genocide. And since then, obviously, the situation has evolved. But it's insane to me that there are pages after pages after pages riddled with psychotic screeds such as this one. What is this? Address this? Yeah. No, literally, this is from the actual court documents. It's not a joke. Al-Husseini meets Adolf Hitler, November 28, 1941. He's saying, I became the Grand Mufti of Palestine. In the Denims lawsuit, Hasan is compared to the Grand Mufti of Palestine. Like al-Husseini, Hasan uses massive platform to spread genocidal rhetoric about anyone advocating for the right of Jewish self-determination in their ancestral homeland, i.e. Zionists. The primary difference between Hasan... Remember, this is a copyright suit. This is a fucking DMCA suit. Why is this in the fucking DMCA suit? Is this fair use or not? And there are so many fraudulent slop tuber charlatans that looked at this and were like, this is based. Like, there are so many fraudulent ass charlatan bitches all over the fucking commentary sphere that looked at this suit and were like, this is awesome. Everything is above board here. This is fucking fantastic. What are you talking about? It's a fucking copyright suit. Not even against me. It's a copyright suit against Denims. This is what I mean when I say we have a crisis in stupidity. We have a crisis in illiteracy. There is a real, genuine crisis that so many people watched this shit happen and went to like perverted, weird ass fake lawyer YouTube pages where they were like, well, I wear a suit and I'm giving you expert analysis. I'm a lawyer. And everyone was like, oh my God, this is actually incredible. Oh my God, this is peak lawyering. It's fucking over. It's so over. Denims is 1,000,000% done. Denims is 2,000,000% done. Hasan's friend Denims is dead. The only reason why Casey had to concede and settle was because she didn't have enough money. Yeah, this motherfucker wanted to sue me too. At some point, someone has to literally talk to this man and be like, dog, you have kids, you have businesses, you're throwing everything by the wayside. What the fuck are you doing? You've leaned into some of the biggest weirdos on the fucking internet because they're the last people that will offer you a crumb of support. And he just doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to anything. He does not listen to anything. Like, is there no one in Ethan's corner that was like, brother, why are you doing any of this? Please stop. I mean, I said it, but of course he won't listen to me because apparently I'm the fucking Grand Mufti of Palestine from his assessment. Last year, when he told Ethan Klein to drop the lawsuits, the fake YouTube lawyer said, you don't know anything about copyright. Yeah. Hasan, please stop pretending you understand anything about copyright. You can barely read properly. How'd that work out for you? Legal mindset? Here's the thing. Here's the problem. Okay? These guys are fucking losers. And they're morons. But the audience demands this kind of moronic attitude. So for them, they won't get punished. Their audiences won't turn around and be like, well, honestly, you really fucked up here, right? You really fucked us up. You told us that this was actually going to be great. You told us everything was going to be fucking fine. Yeah, I retweeted. I said, how'd this work out, dipshit? It's just like, I don't think that there is going to be an actual come to Jesus moment for any of these guys. Okay? I don't think there is going to be an actual come to Jesus moment for any of these guys or their audiences. I think ultimately their audience doesn't want to know the truth. They just want to keep fucking fighting. They want to keep fighting women in general. They want to keep fighting Muslims. None of these creators have even tweeted about it. Yeah, because they're moving on. They're going to move on to the next thing. And they're wrong all the time. Like, this is what I mean. This is precisely what I'm talking about. They're always wrong, and yet their audiences don't care about the truth at all. So they just live in this fucking complete alternative reality, and I don't know how. I don't know why you would want to live there. I don't know why you would want to live in an alternative universe where things are happening in the real world, okay? Things are happening in the real world, and you're oblivious to the things that are happening in the real world, and you just choose to live in this like completely hallucinated alternative reality. You live in fucking Narnia, where like, I'm going to prison any moment now, you know? I went to prison in China, like, and you would much rather live in that universe and just move on. I genuinely don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. It makes no fucking sense. A top comment in their own sub about it commented about how much the judge cited his previous case and they permanently banned them for it. Of course they did. Of course they did. But here's the thing, like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do with this? Because this is objectively insane. Like, this is an objectively insane thing to do. But what do you do when everyone else is insane? Right? What do you do when there is a real audience for this kind of insanity where people don't look at this and go, yeah, I think this is maybe a little bit crazy for me. I'm going to move on from this. I'm going to move on with my life and probably not trust these resources ever again. Instead of that, what they end up doing is seek out further confirmation bias preserving idiocy. You're ignoring women. What is this? No, but for real, thanks for actually covering these lawsuits since the very beginning. It's disappointing seeing so many creators who make React content not say a peep out of fear of being called snarkers. Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. Yeah, the OG fair use suit made Ethan Klein a hero among YouTubers and everyone on the internet. Will people acknowledge that he tried to kill his own fair use precedent? Probably not. I mean, we'll see. There were so many instances where they could have just pulled out of this, right? I think one of the really solid instances where, you know, the fan base could have maybe offered some kind of check and balance towards their favorite content creator, Ethan Klein, was when I showed in that interview, the debate, the fake debate that we had, that he had actually posted about me like 109 or 110 or 111 times or whatever the fuck it was, like 120. I can't remember the exact number. And he couldn't believe it. He could not believe it. He was like, there's no way. Yeah.
Is whether you think someone with money should be able to abuse the court to silence their enemy's speech and expression, because that is the standard Ethan is setting, not a standard about transformation, not one about protecting intellectual property. It's just the standard of don't piss off Ethan Klein. And if you're not disgusted by that notion, you should be. Ethan would be.
In this country, we value free speech. And what a reaction video ultimately is free speech.
I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video, I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing. And that.
Yeah. You know what's ironic about that is that he didn't target any of the people who didn't do that, right? He didn't target XQC. And when people asked him, like, why the fuck wouldn't you target XQC for this? Like, he literally did that shit. He didn't even abide by that standard. He said, well, XQC agrees with me, so it's fine. And it's ironic because he also brought that up in the fucking lawsuit. One of the main reasons why he thought this was a solid fucking lawsuit was because Denims disagreed with his original assessment. You know? Cooked, legal lightning round. Like, gross, dude. Fucking gross. God damn, people are so fucking stupid.
It's fine.
Fair use doesn't give a shit if you watch the video first or not. I didn't watch this video first.
I knew they would watch the entire video, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion.
I have to show that I've watched it before and thought, well, I have something good to add. I didn't watch your video beforehand, bro.
A long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist. They couldn't avoid the temptation.
Yeah, I don't know why he also presented this like a fucking Machiavellian plot, too. Like, he was like, ooh, you've fallen into my trap. And then all these fucking morons were like, oh, hell yeah, base, dude. You trapped these women. Ugh, I hate women. I'm glad you trapped them and destroyed them. Fucking idiots, dude. I have no goddamn respect for any of these dumb bitches. I swear to God. Look, the only way I will ever respect any of these fucking dumbasses if they turn around, kind of like Kilotonics and many others who are in the, you know, commentary sphere, turn around and say, look, bygones be bygones. We fucked up initially. We were all Destiny orbiters. It was fucking stupid. And you know, work to correct the goddamn record.
Of watching it the second it was published.
It's speech, bro. I don't need anyone's permission to say anything.
You can't just...
Perfect vindication for not watching the fucking context puke, by the way, initially, because he was trying to trap me in that same goddamn bullshit. Imagine having to fucking deal with that nonstop, on top of dealing with the ADL, on top of dealing with a bunch of Israel advocacy organizations that are actively trying to fucking deplatform me, that I would also have to deal with a goddamn lawsuit. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous, dude.
Say whatever you want. You can't just say I'm in favor of genocide. You gotta watch what you say. I'm not standing by this shit anymore.
And I'm gonna call out people like Brendan too, because this is just bad for everyone. And it's especially egregious considering the hypocrisy of the whole free speech thing that these guys apparently love so well.
Free speech! You go to free speech. Shut up, dumbass.
You're shutting down criticism and you're pretending like it's a copyright issue. It's not. It's fair use. It's protected speech.
This isn't a free speech issue. This is people are fucking getting way too comfortable slandering and saying whatever they want about people online under the guise of free speech.
There's lots of videos shitting on me on the internet.
By the way, this guy literally calls, ironically, he's the last person who should be calling anybody a fucking pedophile, given his Reddit, his Reddit accounts that were unearthed, but he also literally calls every person that he fucking hates a pedophile all the goddamn time. Talking about slander. You want to talk about fucking defamation? I have his ass dead to rights. There is a literal article that he read about the fucking brothel that I went to in 2010 that got raided in 2016, knowing full well that the accusations by the state were wrong. And that the brothel was able to successfully sue the fucking state. He knows the truth. Okay? And yet he still participates in this fucking slander over and over again. He should be feeling real happy that I don't fucking pursue this kind of shit. He got banned from Celebrity Poker for calling a woman a prostitute? Jesus Christ.
You know, I wish I could just delete them off the internet. You know, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be just convenient?
Like, yeah, he's also literally suing Noah Samson as well. Again, no consequences. Well, thank God a judge actually is issuing a little bit of fucking consequences. Yeah, the brothel lies, even though he personally debunked it. Ethan Klein is smearing Hasan again. He says the brothel was raided for human trafficking in 2021 on leftovers. He debunked the claim himself. There was no arrest about human trafficking. All accusations were unfounded and false. Berlin had to pay 250,000 euros in damages. And Ethan Klein knows that because he fucking read it on his stream next to me, okay, in 2021. But of course, in 2024, when he wants to fucking slander, he plays fast and loose with the truth. And there are plenty of people who fucking despise me who will go along with it. It's just so gross. I just want people to be a little bit more intelligent, man. I want people to be a little bit... Is that too much to ask? Is that a crazy demand that we just, not behave this way? That we have a little bit more care and a little bit more consideration for the truth? It sucks. It sucks. It genuinely fucking sucks. Anyway, I'm going to talk to Yanis Varoufakis now about my ban
but you know what?
From the UK and his ban from Germany for an hour.
You can't
but I just wanted to play this out real quick. I got to pee and then...
and free speech is tested when it's targeted at you.
You can't just say whatever the fuck you want. It's time to start holding people accountable for the shit they're saying.
I fight every day to protect free speech. I put my money on the line, I go to court, and I'll do it as many times as I need to.
You guys have been doing this for years. It's the jig is up. You're gonna have to tell it to a judge, literally.
By the way, this guy likes threatening to sue people. All over fair use and my right to free speech.
And if I wanted to sue you, I probably could fucking ruin your whole life. It'll be great to sue them. I'd love to sue her. I'd love to sue him. I'm gonna sue you. It's not a threat. I'm going to sue you.
We get to pursue legal fees for this garbage, anti-free speech lawsuit.
And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care.
It's easy to defend free speech when it's got nothing to do with you, right? When it makes you look good. But when free speech makes you look bad, then let's see how much you defend it.
Help, Unc. I'm scared. Don't be scared. I'm not pooping, dude. I'm not pooping. Yeah. Anyway, that's the situation. We'll obviously get back to that in a little bit. If you control F Hasan, the judge mentions you 14 times. Why am I mentioned 14 times in this? Filed as a statutory plaintiff's tragicomic documentary entitled Content Nuke Hasan Piker, the nuke, posted on plaintiff's YouTube channel. The nuke centered on the allegedly controversial political ideologies of the alt-left Twitch streamer Hasan Piker regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict. In the final decision, Klein presents the two motivations behind the nuke, which are to stop Hasan's infiltration of mainstream media, which, by the way, what a fucking failure that was. Remember that was the final goal? Was Ethan Klein's final goal was to stop my infiltration of mainstream media. Since then, I mean, he's obviously been very, very successful at that, hasn't he? What is this? The nuke for the exact purpose. Throughout the defendant's live stream, defendant provides commentary pertaining to the criticism of the nuke. Indeed, plaintiff states where the nuke seeks to expose how Piker radicalizes people online to be anti-Semitic and anti-Israeli. Denim attempts to use the nuke for the exact opposite purpose, to radicalize her audience to be anti-Semitic and anti-Israeli, along with defending Hasan. During the live stream, defendant contends that the nuke resembles a high school video project or a middle school project. Defendant also complains about the documentary's editing, the source of the documentary relies upon, and supposed inconsistencies in Klein's statements, and the video treats the audience as morons as it allegedly attempts to trick them. As further supported defendant's commentary throughout the live stream, the complaint states that defendant frequently makes comments that are later contradicted by the nuke itself. Defendant offers further criticism of the subject documentary during her live stream. Yeah, this was one of the major points that the judge also issued, where the judge was like, dude, in your argument, you said Denims actually contradicted your overall goals, which immediately implies that it is a transformative subject. It is transformative because of the accusation. One of the accusations that you launched against Denims was that in the argument that this is not transformative, this work is not transformative at all, The argument that you presented was that it was transformative. It's so fucking stupid. So you owned yourself even with the complaint. Yeah, the judge basically calls Ethan's lawyer an idiot for undermining his own case with his comments. Is he representing himself? No, he has the worst lawyer of all time, it seems. Yeah, Ethan's going to come out tomorrow and be like, it was a Biden-appointed judge. This was an Obama judge. This was an Obama judge. Clearly, I demand a retrial. Yeah, his lawyer is a West Bank settler, apparently. This is the legal equivalent of shitting your own pants. Yeah. I mean, some Twitter users did that. Oh, wow. You mean to tell me that Ethan Klein's newfound audience that is diminishing in size every single fucking day is increasingly more right-wing and will make unbelievably stupid statements like that is very different than what his original audience used to look like at his peak? Yeah. The courts have treated me unfairly, more unfairly than I've ever been treated, than anyone else has ever been treated. Yeah, the judge in this case, the judge in charge of this case in general is a Biden auto pen hire. The only ones coping are you R-words, lol. Yeah, hey, Awk 2000 maybe covered this, but let's see if you have enough self-respect. Lemau, turns out we were right. Denims won, another Hutch L. Did you address Ethan Klein calling for a vote for Susan Collins over Plattner? No, I didn't, because I don't care, because he has nothing. He is literally is unbelievably irrelevant, especially when it comes to this issue, right? Oh man, he's a real mover and shaker in the fucking Maine Senate race.
It's called the light most favorable. In evaluating a motion for judgment on the pleadings, a court must accept all factual allegations in the complaint as true and construe them in the light most favorable to the non-moving party. What the judge is saying here is, I made myself biased toward Ethan. I said everything Ethan says is true. But with the full context, you fucking lose anyway. You lose anyway. Ethan, you fucking lose. Even biased toward you, I can't fairly say that you have a chance of winning. Do you understand how much of an L this is? This is an extra, like, there's no way to lose harder than this legally. Like, legally, this is as bad as it gets.
For reference, winning a motion for judgment on the pleadings as a defendant is very fucking hard to do. At what points do the courts determine him a malicious litigant and bar him from future lawsuits? I don't think it works that way in the United States of America. I mean, I don't know. What is it called? The vexatious litigant, right? But I don't think that... I think after 7, I mean, how does patent trolls work? It does work that way. He'd have to lose 5 cases in LA. Oh my God. They're doing a hearing on this motion at 2:15, so we should see this ruling finalized then. If that occurs, Ethan loses. Awk blocked me, so I couldn't retweet it, shaking my head. I mean, for the record, if you guys think that this will be a fucking turning point for some people, I need you to understand it will not be. And one of the greatest examples I can use is the issue of Israel, right? Many of these guys, Ethan Klein himself, and all of his little fucking orbiters that suckled on his teat for a year plus or 2 years plus, literally spent every fucking waking moment attacking people for the crime of criticizing Israel. They did. They called us terrorists over and over again. They played fucking games that they designed on their websites, Asmongold and many others, right? And they never actually turned around and were like, yeah, we were wrong about this Israel shit. They just moved on, right? So if they're shameless on this issue, where the collective consciousness totally shifted to our side, and they still end up calling people like myself a fucking terrorist, people like Morgan a terrorist, I don't think they're going to do that for this either. I may be I may have yelled a bit during the coverage of this Lamau because it was so cathartic. I actually have seen some people turning on Ethan. Good. I hope so. I hope so. But like, the problem is some of these guys are just simply shameless, where they can pull in and out of this issue at a moment's notice because there's not a lot of buy-in, right? The entire reason as to why they're joining this battle is because, you know how like some people are misogyny tourists and they weren't like Tory Lanez fans at all, but they just joined in on the fun to shit on Megan Thee Stallion. This is the same principle, right? These guys are just simply reactionary. They have no investment in the truth whatsoever. And from their perspective, it was a fun opportunity. It was a fun opportunity to just like join in on the fun, belittle and humiliate another female content creator on the internet, and get their licks in, right? And they move on. When they're wrong, they just fucking move on. Obviously, there are people who can't move on from this. Ethan Klein is one of those people, and some of his closest associates are the people that shouldn't be able to move on from this. I mean, he literally cannot. Here's the original video I was quote retweeting.
XQC or Asmongold could end up with an opinion that's like way more broad.
Oh, wait, and this couldn't?
I suppose, but I think there's less risk in this situation, though, right? Wouldn't you say?
Why?
Because of the particular egregious nature of their malice.
No, but that's not an element in the fair use analysis or in the...
Pisco LARPs as an attorney when he's about as qualified as Mike from PA. Well, it turns out Pisco and Mike from PA were actually correct. And the fake legal scholars that you constantly fucking promoted, who are literally MAGA supporting weirdo sex pests, by the way, like sex tourism lawyers, right? Fake lawyers that are... I don't even know where the fuck these guys live. Half of these guys are just not real lawyers at all, simply claim to be on YouTube. They were wrong. It turns out that the guys that you're calling fake lawyers, like Pisco, LARPing as an attorney, were right. Their analysis was right. So what do you do?
The test for infringement. You know, intentional siphoning is not an element, right? I could intend to siphon money from you, but give a fair use work, right? I could say, I really want to steal from Hutch and I'm going to do this, but it turns out that my work is fair use, right?
Someone like XQC or Asmongold could end up with an opinion that's like way more broad.
Oh, wait, and this couldn't?
I suppose.
Yeah. Didn't they pass the bar? Didn't they go to law school? I don't know if Michael passed the bar. I know Mike went to law school, but I mean, Pisco is an actual fucking attorney. Yeah. He says Denims gets a win in the Ethan Klein copyright case for a new claim the court has held. Tentatively, her reaction was fair use. As I previewed weeks ago, if the court relied on Stebbins, Denims would be in a good spot. Completely absent from the analysis, intentional stated malice. As I've always maintained, I still think Ethan has a strong claim on the countdown reaction and therefore is likely to win on at least one cause of action. But the nuke reaction by Denims was always the harder case, especially when compared to other reactions like XQC's. This is tentative, yes, but given the language here, hard for me to see Ethan recovering on the claim, except perhaps on appeal if he so chooses. Yeah, meanwhile, Mallory McMorrow was on Hutch's broadcast yesterday, apparently, so look forward to that massive bump that will take place. The intentionally stated malice was the reason why Ethan Klein argued that he won't sue Roach or X. He argued because the three women said, watch my stream instead. It is actual malice. The court didn't even mention that part because it's irrelevant. I'm an IP attorney, and this is literally what I do. Pull me up if you have any questions. I mean, it was obvious that it was fucking bullshit anyway. It was always bullshit. It was always going to be bullshit. And what was really frustrating for me was watching so many people... Not that I had a lot of respect for them. It's not like I was like, it's not like I respected XQC's opinion or Asmongold's opinion or any of these other fucking like bottom feeders and their opinions. But it was frustrating to see so many people get swept away and recognizing that there was a market for this kind of bullshit. Because at its root, regardless of my personal feelings about the victims in this circumstance, what I hate, what I cannot stand is when people have no investment in the truth. Like when people don't want to think critically at all, and they're excited at the prospect of just like, you know, pushing people down while they're down, while a much more powerful, much wealthier content creator is just like abusing the legal system and the financial power that they have over someone. Like when I watched the internet celebrate the Casey-tron decision, I couldn't believe how cruel people were. Like it's just not a single person turned around and went, hey, maybe this is a little fucked up that that this fucking bully with a shit ton of money is actually going after Casey-tron. And because a lot of people looked at Casey-tron and looked at Denims and looked at Morgan and saw them as annoying, right? Or saw them as not worthy of defense at all, that they just either stood idly by and let it happen and maybe quietly whispered their discontent privately, or they openly celebrated it. Yeah, Ethan literally made Casey-tron do a ISIS hostage style video. The reason the lawsuit has so much, and then Hasan did this, and then Hasan did this was, I think, because Ethan Klein was baiting Hasan Abi to react to his slop so we could sue him. Yeah, and I never did, and I never gave him that satisfaction. He was driven to the fucking verge of tears, begging on camera, demanding that I watch his video. At which point, that probably would have destroyed his chances of suing me anyway. I think he thought I was dumb enough to just like lean into this immediately and react to it. And when I didn't do it, he just lied to his audience and kept repeatedly saying, oh, he's too afraid. And for months on end, while I'm over here covering Donald Trump literally fucking becoming the president and all of the insanity every single day, day in, day out, regardless of where I am in the fucking on the planet. I was in Japan, you know, I was traveling. They would just come in and be like, why don't you react? Are you too pussy to react? Honestly, if he had sued you, he would have gotten a bag off him from counterclaims. He wouldn't have sued. Kuimon, JSTLK, and a bunch of ex-Sex Destiny fans supported Casey-tron and the girls. No, I know. That's what I'm talking about. Like a lot of the orbiters have like pulled away from Destiny's orbit and now actively oppose him.